California Department of Water Resources went out and did a manual snow measurement near Lake Tahoe to see how our snowpack is doing. And I'll tell you what, things really turned around over Christmas week. We went from just 2 to 9% of April 1st average across the Sierra to 17 to 31% of that April 1st average. And April 1st is an important number because April 1st is typically peak snowpack. So we always like to see where we are with that average to date, but also that percent of April 1st average is really important. To put this in perspective here, we went from 4% on December 22nd of that April 1st average statewide to 24% of April 1st average yesterday. In just a few days, we gained 20% of our average April 1st snowpack. That is a big deal because December was otherwise very lackluster and we would have really needed a mega January to make up for the lack of snow in December.
Driving during the winter can be tricky. Snow or ice can make the roads tough to navigate. Our reporters in Virginia and Ohio have the do's and the don'ts for driving in the snow and ways to prep your car ahead of the next storm.
The best advice for winter weather driving: just don't do it. Stay at home if you can. If you can't avoid it, here's what you need to know. Our sources are the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, AAA, and Kelley Blue Book. So these are the top 3 things that you should do. First, keep your distance from other cars on the road. Second, never slam on the gas or the brake pedal, and get your car prepared for whatever happens. That means filling up on gas, checking your tire pressure and tread, and always keep an emergency kit handy. Our sources also weighed in on some common questions around snow driving. First up, should you speed up before you get to a hill? AAA says hitting the gas hard could make your wheels spin and reduce your control over the car. Instead, try and get a little inertia going before you reach the hill and let that carry you up. Next, can children's winter coats make your car seat less safe? The NHTSA says that's true. Puffy coats can lead to loose-fitting harnesses. Instead, dress your child in thinner layers and put blankets or coats on after the harness is secured. And this one is a very common misconception. So Kelley Blue Book says you should actually not put your windshield wipers up before the snow comes. That can damage the springs that keep the wipers flush with the glass. But even if you follow all this advice, you still might find your car slipping on ice. So listen up to this. If you start skidding, take your foot off the gas pedal. Fight that urge to just slam on the brakes and instead tap the brake pedal lightly. And if your car slips to one side or the other, steer your wheel in that direction. All this will help you regain traction and self-correct out of the skid. With your Verify, I'm Kyle Johnson.
Any extreme weather could have a negative effect on your car. Today I spoke to Luke's Auto, who told me there are a few things that you can do to make sure your car runs smoothly in the cold weather.
This is actually showing a weak battery. It should not drop below 10 volts.
It's a busy time for auto shops across central Ohio. Luke Walker, owner of Luke's Auto, says check your tires, fluids, and battery before hitting the road.
Cold weather and really temperature extremes in either direction can often tend to make something that's on the verge of breaking go ahead and break.
This week, they've seen a lot of people for battery issues, noise complaints, and no heat. Sean Knox with Luke's Auto says if you have an electric vehicle, know that the battery might not last in this weather.
Especially EV cars, they won't hold a charge nowhere near as long as a normal car. So a lot of the EV customers we have also notice a reduction in how far they can get before they have to charge your car.
Knox says it's not a bad idea to wait for your car to heat up before driving it. He says don't turn on your wiper blades until they are defrosted. Then he recommends getting your antifreeze checked.
In colder temperatures, if the freeze protection is not right, it could cause overheating issues or actually freeze up and crack the engine block or the radiator. It'd be bad news real quick if it's not correct.
And when the cold weather ends, wash your car.
All the stuff that gets sprayed on the road is highly corrosive. And with us living in Ohio, we see a lot of rusty cars, which could help out just rinse them off, going through the car wash.
And Luke's Auto says there are a couple things you can keep in your car, like this emergency safety kit and a brush, just in case you're in an emergency, then you're prepared for it. Reporting in Columbus, Tara Jabor, 10 TV News.
The National Weather Service says that car emergency kit should include jumper cables, a first aid kit, charger, a flashlight, flares, snacks, and water. And don't forget items to stay warm, like boots, mittens, hats, and a blanket, as well as a snow shovel. Finally, you want to make sure you keep your gas tank full just in case you're stuck on the road longer than you planned. A ton of videos usually pop up on social media this time of year showing hacks to de-ice your car's windshield or clear the snow. And Aaron Sullivan with our station in Michigan put some of those viral claims to the test to see if they really work.
Waking up and scraping ice and snow off your car early in the morning is not an ideal way to start the day. So what if it could be made easier? Social media life hacks show that using everyday household items can help. Some users say you can use items you already have at home, like vinegar, sandwich bags, and rubbing alcohol. So I put some to the test on one of our station cars. I first tested a method using a sandwich bag filled with warm tap water. This hack is for defrosting your car windshield in the morning. I found that the window was so frozen solid that this didn't really work, but I'm sure it could work if there's no ice on your car. Next, if you're running late and need your windshield defrosted quickly, rubbing alcohol can help. I did notice this helped melt the ice just a little bit, but I can't say that this life hack was life-changing. I also attempted to create a DIY de-icer in a spray bottle using 3 parts vinegar to 1 part water. This did help with scraping ice off of the car's windshield, but the smell was extremely overpowering, and I do warn you, if you try this at home, you might inhale some of that vinegar. So I do not recommend. And if you experience icy doors and handles, I know I do in the morning, well, you can put WD-40 on the rubber edges around your door. This is going to help prevent your door from freezing shut. And for door handles, hand sanitizer can help de-ice those handles early in the morning when they're frozen shut. And lastly, put your visors down inside your car to trap warm air when defrosting your car towards your windshield. This is going to help quicken the defrosting up. Overall, I would say these life hacks didn't necessarily make my life easier, but if you want to try it at home, good luck. I hope it works out for you.
Power outages can often happen during winter storms. Walker Lawson has some advice for staying safe when your power goes out.
There are ways you can stay safe. The Red Cross of South Carolina recommends having a kit before the first flakes fall.
If you lose power, you lose water. So make sure you have, water for your family members. We always like to say at least 3 days worth. Hopefully power wouldn't be out that long, but we never know.
Rebecca Jordan, executive director for the Red Cross of South Carolina, says using batteries is better for lighting than candles and to keep blankets to stay warm.
A lot of home fires in South Carolina, on average 6 a day. So we don't want people to use candles. I mean, even without losing power, we sometimes see people use space heaters and maybe have them too close to curtains or a sofa where then they ignite. So we do see fires, but a lot of fires start in the kitchen. So.
That's when Columbia Fire has to respond. Mike DeSuma, public information officer with Columbia Fire, says during these events, they respond most to accidents on the roadways, but there's always a risk for fires.
If you haven't, used your fireplace in a while, during a storm event is not really the time to just fire it up and see what happens. You got to make sure your fireplace is good to burn. It's really good if you've burned it in already and know it's safe to go. Definitely making sure you have a screen in front of your fireplace to prevent any embers from flying out there and catching stuff on fire.
DeSuma advises people to have a friend or family's place to go if it's cold and you lose power.
Window treatments can help save you money in your heating costs this winter. The Energy Department estimates in an average home, 1/3 of heat is lost through the windows. You can prevent some of that from happening by keeping the drapes or shades closed at night. That can actually act as an extra layer of insulation between your home and the windows. This helps keep up to 10% more heat inside your home, which can lower your energy bill. And don't forget about your plants in the winter. Experts say 24 hours before a big freeze, water your plants deeply, soaking them all the way down to the root. That will help insulate vegetables, herbs, and flowers. You can also get covers to protect your plants. One expert says he uses Christmas lights.
Just covering a plant when it goes down below freezing and stays below freezing for 2 days, that is a penetrating cold, and a cover oftentimes is not enough. I figured out that if you put Christmas lights around a plant, especially if it's soil, and plug them in, they're heaters. It's an indoor-outdoor heater.
You can also try adding mulch to any landscaping beds and on top of soil for newly planted shrubs and trees. That will also help insulate plants in the freezing weather. And just like people and plants, extreme cold can also be harmful to your pets. Experts say a good rule of thumb is if you're cold outside, your animals will be too.
If you have a very young or very old animal, they're even more susceptible to the cold. So if pets do have to be outside, make sure that they're cuddly and safe and warm. There are ways to weatherproof things for animals that maybe, you have a community cat you're caring for. Lots of great stuff you can do there. But for your pets, just please bring them inside. It is far too cold. Additionally, cats and small mammals might seek shelter near or under your car. So honk the horn, tap on that top of the car, get them out of there. Wipe your pet's paws off if you have salt or other chemicals on the pavement, and just use your best judgment.
Veterinarians and other experts also recommend snow boots for your dogs to protect their paws. It can also help them keep safe from the ice when it melts, which can be toxic for pets, and prevent them from getting frostbite. Yes, dogs can get frostbite too if the temperature is below 32 degrees. The American Kennel Club says dogs' tails, ears, nose, and paws are more susceptible. Well, that does it for us today on this Weather Impact Special. I'm Jessica Janner Castro. Thanks so much for watching, and stay safe and warm this winter.